Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Capricorn. If Capricorn is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so, Capricorn, our card tonight is the Prince of Swords. Yeah, that is quite an energy. Any of the Prince cards I see and I'm like, okay, here we go. It's like a toddler with it just, you're like, when does the energy run out? But listen, if I can get just a little bit of that, energy, motivation, excitement for stuff, I'm happy. I'm happy. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to take a look and see what these tea leaves are going to tell us tonight. And if you want to like, comment, subscribe, please think about doing that. It's free to subscribe. Okay, so I took the day off yesterday, and actually your video will be out a day late if you watch it on the day it comes out, because my daughter started school, so it was kind of a busy one. I am so happy to see that we have this cup energy right here. Okay, so when we have a lot of the sword energy and that water is missing, it's all air, no water, right? I get worried just a little bit, right? It might be at times that you're like focusing on things that you maybe feel compartmentalized, kind of, right? Where maybe we try not to get emotional about work. You just get in there, you focus, you do the dang thing, you're in that sword energy, just one task after another, figuring out all of the little logistics and problems and all that. And then, something goes wrong. Yeah, it might be frustrating, but you're not going to get super sad about it. You're not going to bring that home with you, at least, hopefully not. As a Capricorn, you might be really good at kind of, saving that for just work. And then you leave and then you go home and that's like a whole other vibe, right? Now listen, me as a Virgo, not so much. I take my stuff with me everywhere. I'm messy. I'm messy with my emotions. But here I'm looking at this and I'm seeing we have not only the sword, but we have the cup. So there is no pulling these things apart, right? You are in your feelings, but you're also thinking very clearly. And only a Capricorn could really do that, right? Keep yourself pretty grounded, but also allow yourself to feel what you feel. You're not gonna push it down. You're not gonna hide it. You're not going to, save it for when you have a quiet moment to rejoice a little bit or maybe have a little cry, after the kids go to sleep, you shed a little tear. And I'm just laughing because, yeah, I understand that one too. But here we are. Yes, we have this cup energy. We also have above it the number 11. Okay, so there is a profound gateway happening at this moment. Tomorrow is actually 9/11. So when this comes out, it will be 9/11. And this is always to me, the 11 stands for a major gateway. I see we have the Z right here. So I feel like there is something ending next to it, the A. Okay, so the beginning, A. So kind of almost like alpha, omega, the beginning and the end. Well, sometimes, right, we have to think of this as the beginning or the end, it turns over into a new beginning. And I think that's really what's going on here. And then I think that's probably why there are some emotions. So this leads me to believe that possibly you are finishing up a project, finishing up a job. Maybe you are somebody who, you know, what is the word? You freelance, you do freelance jobs, you pick up gigs. You maybe are somebody who's contracted for, you know, the period of your project or whatever it is, okay? This might be that you are coming to the end of the work that you have been doing for years. Maybe it is that you are going into post-work, into retirement. Maybe you are taking on like a part-time job, something a little different. And maybe you are just leaving the company you work with altogether, right? You're going out, finding another position somewhere. But I do feel, yeah, this brings up some emotions, but it also, it's exciting. It's exciting. And I, you know, even in the best circumstances in this day and age, it's still very scary to end one job and go to another. Even if it's like a job you absolutely don't like, right? There's always that little bit of hesitation. But I feel you listening to yourself, you know, knowing that this was not the place for me. This isn't where I want to be. Maybe it wasn't paying enough. Maybe the hours weren't working with you. You want something a little bit different, a different routine. Maybe you have kids or, you know, whatever it is. And you just needed them to kind of give you a different schedule, and they couldn't do that, or they wouldn't do that, right? And so you knew, it's time. I'm done. I'm out of here. And yeah, that can be really scary, but you have that Prince of Swords energy. So that leads me to believe that there is really this excitement, this I can't wait to see what I'm going to do next. And I'm looking here. We have one person here. We have two people over here. And I feel like you coming into a situation where this might be at work. This might be work. This might be volunteer. Maybe you've moved into like a new neighborhood, or you're starting like you've joined a club, or, you know, some activity where you're going to meet new people. And I feel like you go into it with the best, you know, intentions, with the highest hopes. And then you get in there and you start to catastrophize or find little things that you're like, well, I don't really like this part, and I don't know, that lady, she didn't say hi to me, and maybe these people aren't going to be friendly, or, you know, and you start working it up in your mind. But I'm looking at this and I'm feeling like if you allow yourself to just be a little bit vulnerable here, if you kind of let your guard down a little bit. Now, you don't have to, you know, meet these people or go into this new environment and just kind of, you know, dump all of your histories and share every little thing. Of course not. I'm talking to a Capricorn after all. But I do think if you just allow yourself to see what happens, partake in some of the small talk, do that tedious dance that we have to do sometimes, find things to relate to others about, right? And even if you have to if you're like me, I have to make a list of what did I watch recently, what's in the news that isn't going to make anybody upset, that I can kind of bring up. The weather, usually that's what I talk about, the weather. You know, whatever you're into. For me, gardening, that's usually what I plant, the little animals and bugs I meet every day. I like to talk about that stuff. So make a list. And you go into the situation, yeah, maybe a little bit on guard. But I feel like this is an environment that is going to embrace you. More than maybe you ever have been. I feel you, like it's almost like you can breathe for the first time in a long time. Like you have found people. And maybe it's not everybody there, right? But maybe a couple people. And you feel like these people get me. And I get them. And I'm enjoying this. I'm excited to go to work. I'm excited to go to my, new yoga class. I'm excited to do this. I'm excited to do that. And it feels like a new lease on life. It's amazing what a little kinship can do when we find a connection. So we have the house right over here. We have a house. And I see dancing, dancing, dancing. And to me, this looks like N-E-W right here, new. And I just feel like it is. It's like you've decided. You have decided. I'm choosing to try new things. I'm choosing to have a new outlook. I'm choosing to remain neutral about the situation until I really get in there, right? I'm not going to fall into my old coping mechanisms of kind of poo-pooing things and thinking, oh, that's not for me. I would, I've never done that. I'm not really into it. Taking a chance. Taking a chance. And maybe even, socializing with some of the people who, listen, they might look different. They might dress different. They might, be from completely different backgrounds, into different things. But you never know. You never know. You can make such great friends with people who just absolutely seem like they would be, from a different planet than you. But you give it a chance and you might really surprise yourself. The universe might surprise you, And so I see you in this place where you are open. You are open. And I think this is really that Venus energy we have going on here as well. There is just kind of this little bit of softness to how you are moving right now. And I love seeing that with a Capricorn. I love seeing you kind of letting go of some of that, stoicism or just like white knuckling everything or being super in that, well, let's just be real. You Capricorns, and I say this as I am an ascendant Capricorn, so I am also a major placement Capricorn. I am here as well with you. But very much overthinkers. Absolutely. Contemplating constantly. Ruminating sometimes, right? And I think that you are allowing yourself to kind of get out of that mode of just thinking about every little thing, right? Finding connections where maybe there are, maybe there aren't, but who cares, right? You're going to go in there, you're going to enjoy yourself, you're going to do your work, maybe meet some new friends. It'll be good. It'll be good for you. And so I want to take a look. Let's see. What is this going to look like? We're going to use our Oracle of the Radiant Sun. I'm going to pick 3 cards. There we go. Companionship. Right off the bat, we know. Okay, letting down defenses. We have the defense card. That's where you're going to find your ability to have that companionship. Okay? Flirtation. Ooh, maybe a little bit of flirtation too. All right, I'm going to do 2 more. I could go with all of I like doing these. I'm like, I'm going to do 3. Okay, 2 more. Well, maybe 1 more than that, you know. I like to keep it going a little bit. Convention. Okay. Let's see, one last one. Vision. And I guess this one also came out, impulsiveness. All right, so this one's actually kind of off of here. We'll go ahead. We'll move these up. I'm going to take a sip of my drink. A sip of my drink up here. Okay, so we have companionship, defense, flirtation. So for me, immediately, this is that defensiveness. But it also comes down to the convention, right? I think these two go together so much with the Capricorn energy. Trying to stay within the parameters of, you know, whatever the rules are. Traditions, being conventional, not rocking the boat, just kind of going unnoticed. Something that is nice about Capricorn, very stealthy, right? If you are a magician or an occultist or, you know, any kind of practitioner that works within magic and brings it into the physical realm, being stealth is really important. So being conventional actually, in my mind, really plays into that stealthiness quite often. Because listen, when you're just kind of going about your business, not, you know, really standing out or doing anything that brings attention to you, yeah, you could go most of your life without anybody ever talking to you or you know, taking notice. You know, if you've ever lived in a city, you know, this is very much the case. So yeah, but we're leaving this behind, okay? Because listen, there is this energy of companionship, maybe even kind of a flirtation. Now, it doesn't have to be amorous or sensual or eros or any of this kind of stuff. It could be just kind of the flirtation of a friendship, right? Getting to know each other, having those good feelings, really enjoying the conversation, just feeling like you are kind of enamored by this environment where you feel connected to others. Now, we also have vision, okay? We also have impulsiveness. So I feel like, you know, as you are getting into this place of feeling your companionship, dropping the defensiveness, it opens you up. It absolutely does. Your heart is open, your mind is open. Vision coming through very potently, okay? The universe talking to you through symbols, energies, impressions, all of that. Now, we have to be very careful, and this is where we temper self, right? When we get into this place of feeling good, feeling connected, the universe is speaking to us, we're receiving messaging, revelation, prophecy, dream connections, encounters with different kinds of phenomena, intelligences, whatever, you can definitely get into this state of almost frenzy, right? Or feeling more confident than one should, right? And so there can be a feeling of impulsiveness arising. So then we temper ourselves. We get a little bit back into that conventionality, right? Tone it down a little bit, right? hit the brakes, or pump the brakes, as they say. And so I feel like you're excited. I feel like you are. You're excited about things. You're enjoying yourself, and that's what matters. Absolutely. Okay, now we're going to take a look over here. And we have, it looks like a flag. We have a bird, 2 birds. This one feels like there was a Taurus person in your life. We have the Taurus up here. A Taurus person in your life who I'm seeing, they're showing me flags. Not like country, like a flag of a country or a state or anything like that. Flags in their garden or front yard, it's kind of like a decoration. It feels like they always had these like decorative flags hanging around outside. And there seems to be really this feeling of pride about how they kept their yard. Flowers. I'm seeing a lot of hostas. It seems like they really loved hostas a lot. It feels like there was like a lot of shade and trees, and it just felt like paradise, okay? And I think that they have transitioned. And I feel like they're showing me this because they're wondering about their house, their yard. If whoever is living there is keeping it up. And I think that as I'm saying this, you will know who I'm talking about. Like, this is like grandma or somebody, you know, maybe somebody you know from church, or, you know, like an auntie or somebody, right? And they were always in the yard, always working on their flower beds, and you know, anytime somebody walked by, they'd be out there talking to them, and you know, just very proud of what they accomplished. So, you know, I think that they're coming through because they trust that you won't be like, what the heck? What kind of message is this, right? But you remember exactly how important it was to them, so it makes sense, right? That they would come through and want to know, do my flowers still look good, right? Are they still taking care of the house? Is everything, you know, being kept with love? And yeah, I think that's the message for today. So, I would just talk to them, you know, as if you were talking to anybody else, just even out loud. You can do it in your head. You could write a letter. Let them know. Let them know. All right, we're going to do, these are our Cincy Child affirmation cards. And I'm just going to go through. We're going to stop where it feels right. It says, I focus my energy on the things that are within my control. I focus my energy on the things that are within my control. Oh, goodness. It's hard. It's hard. Especially when you think you can control everything. That's what I have to work on. I'm always like, I always say I have like that little Napoleon complex. You know, you've never seen me in real life probably, unless you're one of my family members or friends that are watching. And if you are, thank you for watching. I love you guys. But I'm about 5 foot, right? I'm very short. And yeah, I definitely get that like short, like, you know, trying to control every little thing, making sure everything's running smoothly. Everybody's happy. Everybody's enjoying themselves. Everybody's on task, you know? And, yeah, sometimes you have to just realize, like, man, I'm just chasing my own tail. I can't control any of this, basically. I can control maybe some aspects of self. How I react to things, how I treat people, you know, how much I get done in a day. And that's even, you know, out of your control to the mostly, right? Depending on variables that are outside of self. So it is. I think it's important for us to focus on what we can control, but also to meditate on the fact that, hey buddy, we don't control very much at all. right? If anything, really. So I love these cards. They're always fun to look at. And I love you as well. And I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And what else do we have? I think that's it. Oh, if you want to leave a comment, leave a comment. I read them all. I love hearing from you. If you're new to the channel, definitely shout it out. Other than that, I love you. Take care of yourself. We're going to talk in a few days. Good night. Good night. Good night.